Emily, we need to talk.
I don't know if we have anything left to say.
The moment Emily saw him standing at the far end of the lake pier, she felt something in her chest tighten, something warm, dangerous, and unforgettable. Michael Hayes wasn't supposed to be there. Not after all these years, not after the way things ended, and definitely not with that familiar half-smile he used only when he was hiding something. He turned as if he had felt her before he even heard her, like he always used to. The wind pushed through his dark hair, already streaked with the signs of time, making him look older than the man she remembered, but also stronger, calmer, and far more complicated. She hated that her heart still reacted to him. She hated even more that he still looked at her as though she mattered. Emily stepped closer. "You said you wouldn't come back." He didn't move, didn't blink. "I said I would try." He had always been careful with promises. That alone should have warned her. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The lake was still, the world strangely quiet, as if nature itself were waiting for what would happen next. Emily had only returned to Cedar Ridge for 1 week, to help settle her late grandmother's house, but she already felt pulled back into a past she wasn't ready to face. Michael took a slow breath. "Before we talk about anything, I need you to promise me something." The words hit her like a stone. She remembered the last time he had said those exact words. She remembered what it had cost her. But that was years ago. This was now. She folded her arms. "Why would I promise you anything?" He didn't answer right away. His jaw clenched for a second, then softened. He looked almost afraid. Michael Hayes, the man who never lost control, was afraid of something he hadn't yet said out loud. "I need you to promise you'll hear me out," he said. "No matter how it sounds. No matter how angry it makes you. Don't walk away again." Emily's fingers twitched. Again, he wasn't hiding the wound in that word. She could have told him she didn't know him anything. She could have turned around and walked back to her car. But curiosity, dangerous, persistent curiosity, bloomed in her chest. "What is this about?" she asked quietly. "If I tell you before you promise, you won't stay," he replied. "I know you." She hated that he did. She hated how familiar he still felt, how his voice slipped into the cracks of her heart like it had never left. Emily glanced at the lake, at the quiet town behind her, at the house that held more memories than she wanted to unlock. She wasn't sure why she nodded. Maybe because she wanted answers. Maybe because she wanted closure. Or maybe because, deep down, she wasn't done with him. "Fine," she whispered. "I promise." Michael exhaled as if he had been holding his breath for years. "Thank you." He stepped aside. "Let's sit." She stayed standing. He noticed, but didn't comment. He rested his hands on the wooden rail of the pier, staring at the water. His voice was low, steady, but full of something heavy. "Emily, someone came to see me last month. Someone connected to your grandmother." Her breath caught. "What? Why me? Why now?" "That's part of the story," he said. "But this person, they told me something I didn't want to believe." She felt a chill run beneath her skin. "Michael, what are you talking about?" He finally turned to her, his eyes darker than she remembered. "Your grandmother left something behind. Something meant only for you. And for reasons you don't know yet, it involves me." Emily shook her head slowly. "My grandmother barely knew you." "She knew enough," he said. "More than either of us realized." Her heartbeat stumbled. None of this made sense. Her grandmother had been warm, loving, predictable. She hadn't kept secrets. At least Emily thought she hadn't. "Michael, what exactly did she leave?" He hesitated, then reached into his jacket. He pulled out a small envelope, old, yellowed, fragile, as though it had been waiting for years to be opened. Her name was written across the front in her grandmother's handwriting, delicate and unmistakable. Emily's stomach dropped. "She wanted you to have this," Michael said softly. "But she also left instructions. I was supposed to give it to you myself. And only when the time was right." Emily stared at him. "And you decided now is the right time?" "No," he said. "Someone else decided. Someone who warned me that if you didn't get this soon, you might be in danger." She felt the world tilt. Danger? From what? Michael didn't look away. From the same people I've been running from for years. The wind rose suddenly, lifting the corner of the envelope, carrying the scent of the lake and the tension between them. Emily's voice shook. Michael, what did you get yourself into? He looked at her with a sadness that pierced deeper than fear. The real question, he said, is what your grandmother got all of us into, and why she trusted me to protect you when I was the one who failed you before. Emily held the envelope as though it might burn her fingers. She didn't understand any of it. But she understood one thing clearly. The promise she just made was no small favor. It was a doorway back into him, into danger, into answers she wasn't sure she wanted, and she had already stepped through. Emily didn't open the envelope right away. She couldn't. Her fingers trembled too much, and the weight of Michael's words pressed on her like cold air. They stood at the edge of the pier, the town behind them quiet and unaware that her entire life had just shifted. Michael watched her closely, as if waiting for the moment she would break. He always had been good at reading her, even when she wished he wasn't. When did you get this? She asked. 3 weeks ago, he said. I didn't want to believe the warning that came with it, so I waited, probably longer than I should have. And what exactly was the warning? Michael hesitated. That someone would come for you once they realized I had the envelope. That they were already watching. A coldness spread down her spine. Watching me? For what? For whatever your grandmother hid, he said. And for whatever she thought you could do with it. Emily shook her head. This doesn't make sense. My grandmother lived a quiet life. She baked pie, volunteered at the library, and complained about the mayor's lawn. She wasn't mixed up in anything. Michael stepped closer, lowering his voice. People can live quiet lives and still carry dangerous secrets. She stiffened. Like you, he didn't flinch. He deserved that and knew it. Emily, he said softly, I'm not the same man you walked away from. But what I was, it's connected to this. Her heart thudded heavily. Then tell me the truth. All of it. For a long moment, he didn't speak. The sunset painted the lake in amber tones, but the conversation felt anything but warm. His posture shifted, shoulders tightening under the weight of something old and painful. I worked for a private security group, he finally said. Nothing official. Nothing legal. We handled things people didn't want the police to touch. Recoveries. Extractions. Information. Emily's stomach nodded. You told me you were a consultant. I was. Just not the kind you thought. And my grandmother? How did she know anything about that? That's the part one didn't want to believe, he said. Because the person who came to me, they claimed she hired us once. Years ago. Emily felt rooted to the pier. Her grandmother had hired a private group? For what? Why? What was the job? She whispered. Michael's eyes softened. Finding someone. Emily's breath stilled. Who? He looked at her with a heaviness that made her chest ache. You. The world blurred for a moment, as if the lake had tilted. Emily blinked rapidly. My grandmother didn't find me, she said. I grew up with her. She raised me. Michael held her gaze gently. Yes. But before that, there was a period when you were gone. What are you talking about? I was a child. You were missing for 3 months, he said. Taken. And recovered quietly. Emily shook her head hard. No, that's impossible. She would have told me. I would remember. You were too young, he said. Barely 5. And your grandmother kept it hidden to protect you. Her heartbeat roared in her ears. Images flickered, blurry ones, faint ones, faces she couldn't place, shadows of a room she couldn't remember. She had always chalked them up to strange childhood dreams. Emily, Michael said gently, the envelope you're holding, it has the truth. About what happened. About why she was afraid to tell you. About who took you then, and why they might be coming back now. She pressed a hand to her forehead, trying to steady herself. This is insane. You expect me to believe that my entire childhood was a lie. Not a lie, he murmured. A shield. Emily stepped back, overwhelmed. Why didn't she tell me? Why hide something that big? Because she knew it wasn't over, Michael said. Because the people who took you were never caught. And because they wanted something from your family, something she hid before she died. Emily looked down at the envelope again, heart pounding so fast she felt lightheaded. What do they want? She whispered. I don't know, Michael admitted. But I know they're looking for it again. And I know they think you know where it is. I don't. I believe you. But they won't. A gust of wind blew across the pier, carrying the smell of the lake and the metallic taste of fear. Michael stepped closer, but gently, giving her space to pull away if she wanted. She didn't move. Emily, someone followed me into town last night, he said. They know you're here. And they know I'm with you. Her chest tightened. Then why did you come? Why bring danger with you? Because danger was already coming for you, he said. You just didn't know it yet. Emily turned slowly toward the path leading back to town. Her grandmother's house sat quiet behind the trees, waiting with secrets, waiting with answers. What am I supposed to do? She asked. Michael took a breath. You opened the envelope. You read what she left you. And then you let me help you. You think I should trust you? After everything. Michael's expression softened with something deep and painful. You don't have to trust me. Just let me protect you. It's the one thing I owe you, and the one thing I can still do right. She didn't answer. Couldn't. Her chest felt too full, of fear, of questions, of memories she didn't know she had. Emily finally tore open the envelope. Inside, there was a single letter, folded neatly. But there was also something else, a small metal key, old and heavy, like it belonged to a safe or a locked chest. Her grandmother's handwriting filled the page. Emily, if you are reading this, it means the past has found you again. Do not trust anyone until you know the truth. Not even the ones you love. Emily's breath hitched. Michael's jaw tightened. She read the next line slowly, her voice barely a whisper. And if Michael is with you, ask him why he left the night you were taken. Emily froze. Michael went still. And suddenly, the letter trembled in Emily's hands. The sunset had faded, leaving only the dim glow of the pier lights and the sound of the water striking the wooden posts below. Michael didn't move. He didn't breathe. He just watched her read the line again, his jaw locked tight. Ask him why he left the night you were taken. Emily could barely lift her eyes. Michael, what does she mean? His shoulders sank, the fight draining out of him. It was the look of a man cornered, not by danger, but by truth he had been delaying for years. Emily, he said quietly, please, let me explain before you assume the worst. That sounds like a confession. Her voice cracked. He took one slow step toward her, then stopped when she flinched. He swallowed hard. Your grandmother never forgave me for what happened. I never forgave myself. But I swear to you, I didn't hurt you. I never would. Her heartbeat thundered in her chest. Then why were you there? Why did you leave that night? The way he closed his eyes told her the answer had been haunting him for a long time. I was part of the team hired to find you, he said. But before that, I was part of the group that failed to protect you in the first place. Emily blinked. I don't understand. I was assigned to guard your grandmother, he said. Not you. I didn't know the people taking children were targeting her family. I didn't know they wanted something she hid. The night you disappeared, I wasn't at the house. I left to chase a false lead, one I should have known was a trap. By the time I realized it, you were already gone. His voice broke. I failed you before I even knew you. Emily gripped the railing, her knuckles white. So you could have stopped it. Yes. The word came out raw. If I had stayed, if I had watched your grandmother instead of listening to the wrong people, you never would have been taken. She blamed me because she was right. The air between them felt heavy, almost unbearable. She wanted to cry, scream, run, but she did none of those things. She only stared at him, trying to sense whether the man she once loved could have truly been a part of something so dark. And after they found me, she whispered, where were you then? Michael's gaze softened painfully. I was with you. You don't remember, but I carried you out of that place. You were terrified, shaking. You held onto my shirt so tightly the fabric tore. He shut his eyes. And the next morning, your grandmother ordered me to stay away forever. Emily's breath trembled. Why? Because I was a reminder, he said, of the danger, of her mistake in trusting strangers. Of the group I worked for, the same group that was supposed to protect you and failed. His voice lowered. And because she knew the people who took you weren't finished. Emily pressed the letter to her chest, her heart aching in ways she couldn't name. But then years later, why come back into my life at all? He looked at her with a grief so deep it almost made her step closer. Because I saw you in town one day, he admitted. You were laughing with your friends outside a bookstore. Safe, alive, beautiful. And I knew I didn't deserve to speak to you, but I couldn't walk away. I let myself fall for you even though I knew I had no right. Emily stared at him, realizing suddenly that the guilt she had sensed in him back then had been real and heavy and buried beneath every smile he gave her. So when we started dating, she whispered. I was selfish, he said. But I swear to you, Emily, not a single moment with you was a lie. Not one. Her chest ached. She believed him. She hated that she did, but she did. She looked down at the letter again, at the key gleaming faintly in the pier light. What does this open? She asked. A safe, Michael said. Your grandmother kept it at the old library, the one she volunteered at for 20 years. Emily's breath caught. The one that's being torn down next month? Michael nodded. She hid something there. Something those people want. And you're the only one who can get to it now. A noise came from the edge of the pier, the soft crunch of gravel under a slow, deliberate step. Michael tensed instantly. His hand moved toward his jacket. Emily, he whispered, stay behind me. She shoved the letter and key into her pocket, her pulse drumming in her ears. A figure stepped out from the shadow of the trees. Tall, put up, moving with quiet confidence. Emily's breath froze. Michael murmured, they found us. The figure stopped 10 feet away. Emily Carter, a voice said, smooth, calm, too confident. Your grandmother kept something that belongs to us. We need you to hand it over. Emily's voice shook. I don't know what you're talking about. We know you have the key, the figure said. And we know who gave it to you. Michael shifted, placing himself directly in front of her. You're not getting near her. The man tilted his head. Michael Hayes, still trying to play the hero? You weren't one then, and you're not one now. Emily felt Michael's muscles tighten. Run, he whispered. Emily, go. She shook her head. I'm not leaving you. Emily, he said, eyes locked on the thread. I can't lose you again. The figure stepped forward. Michael moved faster. He tackled the man away from her, the two of them slamming against the pier rail with a heavy crash. Emily stumbled backward, heart racing, as Michael fought to keep the man away from her. She heard the sound of a knife skidding across the wood. Emily, Michael shouted. Go to the house. Lock the doors. But she didn't run. Her grandmother's words echoed in her head. Do not trust anyone until you know the truth. Yet when she looked at Michael, bleeding, fighting, protecting, she felt something stronger. She grabbed the fallen knife before the stranger could reach it. Get away from him, she yelled. The man paused, calculating. Michael pushed himself to his feet, breathing hard. Emily, please. Go. But Emily stepped next to him instead. No, she said. Not this time. We face this together. The stranger's expression shifted, annoyance, then something darker. This isn't over, he said. You can't hide what belongs to us. He backed away slowly, then disappeared into the trees, silent as he had arrived. Emily's legs nearly gave out. Michael caught her before she collapsed. Are you hurt? He asked urgently. No, she whispered. Are you? He shook his head. I'm fine. For a moment, they simply stood there, breathing each other back into existence. The fear didn't fade, but something else grew stronger. Trust, fragile but real. Emily looked up at him. What now? Michael brushed her hair gently from her cheek. Now, he said softly, we find the safe. We uncover the truth. And whatever your grandmother hid, we protect it together. Emily held the key tightly. Together. It was a promise neither of them spoke, but both of them made.